The year is 1989. My parents recently purchased the family Nintendo from the base PX, and a family friend who is leaving the Army stops by to drop off a few games he's no longer interested in owning. I see one of these games, a black label with sword, axe, and globe, red lettering that says Final Fantasy. I beg my mom to help me play it, and thus begins my love of RPGs and the Final Fantasy franchise. The world is veiled in darkness, the wind stops, the sea is wild, and the earth begins to rot. People wait, their only hope a prophecy. When the world is in darkness, 4 warriors will come. After a long journey, 4 young warriors arrive, each holding an orb. Welcome one and all. I'm the Arcane Rogue, and this is Final Fantasy for the Nintendo Entertainment System. I want to make a couple of notes about this adventure that we're about to start. I will be avoiding level grinding, with exception to 2 primary areas in the game. That is, right at the start, before the Temple of Fiends, and before the Marsh Cave. Veterans of this particular game know that in both of those locations there is a difficulty spike, with the latter being far greater than the former. I will also be doing a minimal amount of gold farming. Towards the end of the game, gold becomes relatively meaningless. So, I don't see any reason to farm a lot of it early on. Yes, that might lead to us to a less efficient path, or a less efficient playthrough, but if you're interested in speedruns, I'm sorry, you're in the wrong place. As far as random battles go, they will be largely cut from this adventure, unless they are particularly interesting, or there's a particular trickiness to them. My focus is more on the story than the combat, and in addition, most of the enemies you face in this game are relatively vanilla. They simply attack, and the variance is in their hit points and their attack power. Grinding and farming might be shown if it has sufficient interest, and that would be posted as bonus content. Now, let's get on with it. You can have 4 characters in this game, and the party order matters significantly. Characters can be either a fighter, does what you think it does, equips most weapons and armor, is basically a tank. The thief can't equip quite as much heavy armor as the fighter, can't equip as many strong weapons, but they have high agility. The black belt is equivalent to a monk. Their equipment draw is pretty poor, especially in the early game, but later on, they truly shine. Their hit point growth is beyond all the other classes, and towards the end of the game, you don't need to have any equipment for your black belt. Red mages are a combination of your classic white mage and black mage. They can cast a little bit of both, but they don't excel at either. I will be using a red mage in this playthrough. The white mage does what you think it does. It's your healer. Casts white magic. Think of it as a cleric. Black mages are your attack mages. Their magic is all battle, all the time. They have the weakest hit point growth curve of any of the character classes. Due to some bugs in the various spells that black mages get upon character class upgrade, which I will talk about later, I am going to eschew using them during this adventure. There's no real point. The red mage gives me everything I want that the black mage could do. In addition, the red mage gives me access to additional white magic, and it has a better equipment draw. So, for my first character, I am going to go with a fighter. And this fighter's name will be Lil J. for Little John. Because we're going to take Robin Hood's merry men out for a spin. My second character slot will be a red mage. Now, I chose a fighter for the first slot because they will get 50% of the enemy attacks. I want a tank there. The red mage is going to take the second slot because its equipment draw is slightly better than the third character's class gets at the start of the game. But eventually they will be moved down to the third slot. And our red mage, given that he's dressed in red, can be none other than Will Scarlet. For our third character, I think we're going to bring Friar Tuck along. Friar Tuck here is going to be a black belt, and he is going to take 12.5% of the attacks. The last 12.5% will go to our fourth character, who is going to be a white mage. And that is going to be Much, the miller's son. Now, Much has not shown much. He doesn't... Haha, see what I did there? He doesn't get much playtime, I guess you could say, in the Legends. But he really does encapsulate the spirit of a white mage. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Here we are, outside of Castle Coneria and the city of Coneria. Let's go into the castle first. I mean, this is a medieval era fantasy, so we should go say hi to the king, right? Guards aren't going to stop us. Gee, why? Oh. Okay, the king's looking for us. Okay, I'm not sure if this is a good thing or a bad thing. I did not intentionally think that the king would be looking for us to, and capture us right away. You all say the same thing. Okay, whatever. Go away. Oh, just as the prophecy declares, yes. Garland kidnapped the princess. Garland? Huh. Christmas decorations have kidnapped the princess. Okay. Well, of course we're gonna go save the world. We're the Light Warriors. You would think that a king would have more soldiers at his disposal, right? Why doesn't he just march up there with a column of soldiers and take the princess back? Whatever. Anyway, if we hit select, we can adjust our party positioning. I'm not going to do that. In later games, you can control who is leading your party with just pressing the select key. If we hit start, we can go into our menu. We see that we have 4 orbs in the upper left there. They are not lit up. They're kind of shadowy and dark. Presumably that shows us the state of the world. We also have 400 gold. We can see that our fighter starts at level 1, of course. No experience, needs 40. Strength 20, agility 5, 1 intelligence, he's none too bright. 10 vitality, 5 luck. 10 damage with his bare hands, and a nice evasion. But again, he has no equipment. If we check out our red mage, you can see that the strength stat for the red mage is the same as the fighter's, except his intellect is way better. We don't have any items. And I exited the menu again because I keep getting the keys mixed up. Friar Tuck here has 5 strength. Does 2 damage with his bare hands. It's not that great. And even though he has better hit points than Will Scarlet right now, that won't stay the case, and Will's equipment draw is far superior. The white mage here is leading the party in intelligence. Not so much in luck, and certainly not in strength. If we go into our magic, we can see we don't have any magic. We have no weapons. We have no armor. So, let's rectify that issue, shall we? Oh, hey, what do you want? The Dream City. Coneria, the Dream City. Those of you familiar with 8-bit theater might think of this as Corn area. The Corn City. If you aren't familiar with 8-bit theater, well, I'm sorry you missed out. It was a very funny webcomic. There's nothing there. Well, that's because... Oh, she's a dancer. She's Erlon the dancer. Well, that's nice. That's nice. Hey, soldier boy. That's fantastic. You want to come with us? Revive the power of the orb. So, you're just going to sit here and do nothing, huh? How could our face be dirty? We just started. Whatever. Hey, old woman. You have anything? No, of course she doesn't have anything to say. Listen, this was the NES era, people. I'm surprised that most of the NPCs have unique dialogue. Okay, so now we know that Lucan is at the Crescent Lake. Where the heck is the Crescent Lake? Someday the Light Warriors, hi, that's us, will come to save the princess, just as in Lucan's prophecy. So wait a minute. He's not going to go save the princess because the Light Warriors are supposed to go do it. And they're just going to show up one day to do that. Okay. Sure. Whatever. Alright. Let's go into the armor shop. Let's see here. What I want right now is I want 2 pieces of chain armor. One for Little John. And one for Will Scarlet. Alright. And now I want 1 piece of wooden armor. And I want that for Friar Tuck. And of course you would think, oh, is that sufficient? No, of course it's not sufficient. We have to go in and equip it. So we go equip. There we go. We're now equipped. Let's go into the weapon store. Now, because the fighter is basically useless without a weapon, I'm going to buy a rapier for him. And likewise, I'm going to buy a rapier for Will Scarlet. I could buy an iron hammer for the white mage, but right now they're not going to be doing anything much other than casting magic when they do anything at all. And for the black belt, I will eventually buy some wooden nunchucks, but not a high priority at the moment. I want to get some spells. And of course, we have to equip our weapons. Okay, so now our frontline fighters are properly equipped for survivability. Let's get some white magic. Who will learn? Not Little John. Will Scarlet can learn something. Let's get the Cure spell. Does exactly what you think it does. And Much is also going to not learn the Cure spell because I ran out of gold. Okay. And I believe the black magic is all 100 gold as well. Yes. Of the black magics, the only 2 that are interesting to me in here that I'm going to pick up are Fire and Lit, or Lightning. They are the Fire and Lightning elemental spells for this level. In white magic, the only spells we are going to pick up are Cure and Harm. Harm is your basic, not quite turn undead, but attack undead. In addition, the Fog and Ruse spells, I believe, are bugged. Fog, I can't quite recall what it does because I never use it. Same with Ruse. Because, like I said, I believe they're bugged. I could be mistaken on that. It's been a while. So Cure and Harm are the only ones I'm going to pick up. I'm going to, as I've done already for Will, give him Cure. I'm going to pick up Harm for Much and Cure for Much. Will cannot learn Harm, if I recall correctly, until he is promoted to Red Wizard, and by then the spell is useless. So he will be getting our black magic. But that is all we have time for in this episode. I will have to leave it there, and I will catch you next time. I'm going to spend some time farming some gold to pick up my spells, get some equipment, and try to get my characters up to around level 3 or 4 so they can survive the Temple of Fiends, so that we can go up and save the princess. So until next time, I've been the Arcane Rogue. Have a good one.